Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another idiot discussion. That's what this is. I am the rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Hello, everyone.
So, if you know us, but you don't know us. We don't matter, right? But I am the rat, and Kyle is the whack crabs, and we discuss anime, right? And typically every week we do a review of Jujutsu Kaisen's anime episode because we quite like Jujutsu Kaisen. However, obviously there have been some things going on at MAPPA to the point where this week we're going to talk about the episode. I mean, it's an amazing, but we also wanted to talk about MAPPA itself. That's what this video is going to be. It's going to be me and Kyle chilling, talking about some stuff, just because, want to talk about it, I guess. I don't know,
It is a pretty large elephant in the room to just ignore. It feels like if you're online and you in the know-how and you're in the discussions, it's hard to talk about the newest season/episodes of JJK without this coming up. It's so prevalent and takes up a lot of the discussion. So something that we talked about, we're like, yeah, we should probably just talk about it in an episode, address it, get our feelings on it out in the open, and just go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I feel like we would have to talk about anyways, just in a normal episode review. And it's like, well, then, might as well make it the focus of the episode. But first, we are going to talk about the episode itself very briefly. This was a pretty darn good episode. Props to the staff at MAPPA. Not to MAPPA itself, because MAPPA itself likes men.
Yeah, props to the two animators who stayed behind. They really did a bang-up job.
True. Yeah, so this obviously was the funny Wallahi Daddy Sukuna. Daddy Sukuna, he is Daddy. Daddy Maharaga, Daddy Makora.
Hey, is that a Freudian slip?
No freaking way. I do love Sukuna. I would love for him to be my daddy.
He's my favorite chef.
The Leveling Kitchen. I love Makora so much. Such a beautiful little boy.
Yeah, this particular moment, I think out of, we're caught up to the manga, all that. I think this fight, like this moment of him summoning Maharaga, is still one of my top moments for me. And I was not disappointed with the like you said, right? Not MAPPA itself, but like the people who put forth the hard work and effort in this episode. They did a fantastic job. I thought that they did the moment of him initially summoning at Justice. the fear on it's Shigemo, right? That's the guy's name.
Yeah.
The fear on his face, like the wolves and the toads and the other animals aligning. Maharaga's like cocoon thing as it just breaks forth and exists as a menace.
It was pretty darn sick.
And I love the little sequence where Megumi's like, I'm dying first. Later, Maharaga swats him like a fly. He starts approaching Shigemo, and Shigemo's like, oh, fuck you. Just like...
Something I never noticed even in the manga is that, Megumi straight up dies there. It's just he's in suspended animation until the ritual thing ends, and Sukuna saves his life by being an outside force in the ritual situation. So I didn't even pick that up in the whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was sick.
Yeah. No, like he flat out kills Megumi. And then, Sukuna has to step in to save the guy because it's like, well, if he, it's Sukuna. Sukuna wouldn't save someone unless it benefited him. As we know, specifically with Shigemo, it's like, all right, if he dies, ritual ends. Ritual ends, Megumi dies. So, as an outside fighter, I have to take this thing on. And then we get essentially up to like the last small percentage of the episode. The rest of this is just the fight. And it's a good fight. It was good in the manga. It's good here. There were some scenes of it feeling a little over animated for me. It kind of reminded me of the Gear 5, like 1071 or 72 when it first showed up?
71, I think.
Yeah, but like it kind of reminded me of some of the over animation used there.
I didn't think anything was over. Like I didn't. You know what? No, I will say I don't think it was over animated. I do think it was kind of confusing at points.
I guess that's what I'm getting at.
No, you're all good. You're all like because Gear 5 was confusing because it was over animated. This one was just maybe like just like the shots themselves
and some things felt like explained properly. Like what? Like stuff was just what was it? Stuff was just floating in the air, right? I don't know.
I think that was
just them fighting so fast that
Yeah.
like something yeah. But even
that's
like
how
toward
I would look at it, because Maharaga and or Sukuna, neither of them have the power to do that. Well, I don't know. Maharaga probably does, and Sukuna's just built different.
But like, here a good example, right? This is jumping very far ahead, but like at the end of the episode, whenever Sukuna's like, "Get out of my face, trash," Shigemo walks forward and he's like, "Oh yeah, I lived," and he just falls over with his face cut open. There's just no explanation for that, because in their manga, I remember it being like Sukuna, whenever he used his abilities, like it was still active. That 140-meter radius was still active with his slashing, and Shigemo just walked in right as it like was about to end, and so he just got his face cut open. But there's just nothing there that indicated how he just fell over with his face cut open, like okay, cool.
I think
that's it.
I mean, it did say that he used all his luck points against.
Those are the miracles, but it didn't explain like what got him. I don't know. Just that, I know that's something I'm probably harping on, but like that, and then yeah, a lot of the action itself. Okay, not a lot of it, but there were some moments where it was kind of confusing to follow along with. But the majority of it was easy to follow along with. And it was very well animated. You know, seeing all like the people.
It was sick. There were some sick moments in that.
Yeah, it's always like kind of fucked. When not kind of, it is just fucked whenever civilians in fights get dragged in.
I think it's hilarious.
It's
like, dude, like you're dead now. Like that's pretty funny to me.
Or like the people in the subway, they're like, it's okay, we shouldn't panic, and then he activates. He enters Hell's Kitchen.
Okay. So, one of the two elephants in the room, Malevolent Kitchen and Makora. That's one of them.
I wouldn't even call that a big elephant. That's just like okay, maybe the kitchen one, but like
yeah, Malevolent Kitchen with fillet and dissect. No. It's Malfunctioning Shrine with slash and cleave. That's what I don't care. I don't care what translation you're using. I don't care if it's HCSB or King James or IND.
Okay, hear me out. What if it's
Shrine.
like Malevolent McDonald's?
That is where he works. You got to get all that farming in from beating the high end farmers, bro. That's all he had to rule over. That's all. He's a fraud.
But yeah, like for Makora, we talked about it a little bit before the episode, but it's just like some of the weird translation that happens with like the original name.
Yeah, because it's like a Buddhist thing that translated yada yada. So both
Maharaga
and Makora are correct, technically.
Yes, it just depends what you're going
However,
with. So
I've heard that Maharaga is more correct, and I pronounce it Maharaga, so I'm going to continue saying Maharaga.
It will be known as Maharaga. I mean, this just simply it'll be
Maharaga
known.
is just a cool ass name.
Yeah, Makora. Okay, Makora sounds more divine in a way. Maharaga sounds, and I know this is definitely biased, but like sounds more threatening, more intimidating.
Now Maharaga is like, okay, like nah, that's a fucking name, right? That the Maharaga is good. Makora is like if Makora had been the name from the beginning, like that's cool, but I still don't think it's as cool as Maharaga.
Yeah, Maharaga sounds cooler, and I know that there's definitely bias there because we've had more time with it. But like, yeah, I like Maharaga better. And then what's the second elephant? Are you talking about? Is that like just MAPPA, or are you talking about like something in the episode?
Specials being used at the end of Yuji. That has been quite controversial online.
All right. Let me say this, okay? Yeah. First and foremost, not my direct feelings on this at the moment, but I think the manga and the anime, I would argue, like objectively, they give off different vibes.
That is exactly what I was gonna say.
Like the mangas is more quiet, solemn. You know, Yuji. Granted, there's no music unless you're Kinji. You know, there's no music in manga unless you're Kinji. But when Yuji is just looking out over like the flat, barren wasteland that was Hell's Kitchen being performed, and everything else is just like, oh, and Fuego, yeah. Just with all that destruction, it's just like he just has to kind of sit there, and it's uncomfortable just to read. It's just very like quiet, dark. And in this one, it's more, the animation is more of like a taunting kind of like jesting, poking at Yuji, like reaffirming, like, oh yeah, you know, you did this in a more like
so what I've heard
humorous,
of
fucked up way.
What
Sorry,
I've heard,
I'm
no, you're all good, of specials and why it was used is like in the Japanese, apparently, it's like it is a villain song. It's like, you are my specials. Like, I think it was said that it basically like translates to like the intended meaning, because obviously you are my specials, like that is an awkward sentence in English. But like the intended like meaning of it is like, you are like my plaything, kind of. So it's like very like, I would say it's like specifically a song written about Sukuna being like, oh, I'm better than you. But it definitely feels like Sukuna glowed. Like it fit the scene. Like it was a different feeling than what I got in the manga. I would say personally, I prefer the manga adaptation.
But the animes wasn't bad.
I prefer the feel of the manga. I think that it added more weight to the scene in the manga. But I do like the anime direction of it taunting Yuji, like Sukuna taunting Yuji even more.
Yeah, they tried something new, and it's not like it wasn't a failure or anything.
It was still good. Especially because, I mean, Yuji's gonna have a little more suffering, so it's fine. It's fine if one moment was maybe like not made lighter, but like given a slightly different feel than just pure despair. Because later is when Yuji's going to despair. So
yeah.
So I'm completely fine with them using specials.
Oh, it was fine. That like it was interesting.
Yeah,
to
I
see
liked
it.
I prefer the manga, but I liked it.
Yeah. It's like I prefer it too, but the anime didn't, it didn't like screw anything up, right? Some people well, from what Brandon has seen, apparently it's been controversial, which like I don't know. I mean, yeah, I get not liking it there, but is it that bad of a choice? I don't think so. I don't think it was a bad choice to make.
No, I don't think so either. So, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
MAPPA has been messing some stuff up.
MAPPA has been bruising for a bruising, and it feels like the lid on the container, like it can't hold anymore. Like stuff is leaking out. Literally, we're learning more about what's happening behind the scenes, and it's not looking too. Situation is currently not looking very good. Dare I say, it is very bad.
Yeah.
Awful, even.
You could certainly say that.
So, where do we want to begin eating this elephant? Where do we want to start? Because there's a lot to say. I mean, there's a lot.
So, first of all, we could not get another episode of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 for a while.
That is true. Like people watching, right? If you don't know like the full situation, it's that big, like it's this impactful that JJK might be delayed. It might be delayed for. If I had to personally predict, sorry, it's late. If I had to personally predict, I would say like maybe a couple months. I feel like, because in my head, right, unfortunately, I feel like MAPPA is going to do a mad dash scramble to try and grab like as many animators as they can from other places to try to finish it up without trying to improve their own situation. So like MAPPA's going to strap on their boots, trudge through the mud, and they're going to try to finish JJK Season 2 within a reasonable amount of time. And even when they, like, after doing all that
reasonable amount of time.
Sorry, not a reasonable amount of time. And when what they think is a reasonable amount of time, which is definitely unreasonable. That's another thing we'll talk about. But they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna try to finish it as soon as possible. They're gonna try to hit all the panic buttons here, and they're gonna try to finish it when they can. And by then, they're gonna get finished with the season. But then It's like, what now? You've lost a lot of your animators. It's known that like your working conditions in the studios are somehow worse than other studios, from what I'm hearing. So I hope it's not an over exaggeration to say like this could be the start of the MAPPA downfall. Is that
I think it's a matter of how much can they brush it under the wood, because from what we've heard, right, a bunch of tweets and whatnot come out from animators, where everything's reaching a boiling point. But at the same time, I think that something that's important to consider is the differences between Japan's culture and our culture. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on Japanese culture.
Oh no,
I'm not a weeb, right?
But there are major differences.
I'm a college student who likes watching anime and reading light novels, and just as much as I love watching sports games, right? We're
not the most qualified people to talk on this subject matter. You've been warned.
But I think that the culture of Japan, these people, the animators, they've already been working this much. This might sound bad. Literally until either they physically can't, a good amount of them physically have to go to the hospital, and the overworking can do that. Overworking can happen. There's probably already been cases of that. But until there is a critical failure like that, I don't think that a bunch of animators are just going to quit and walk out, because I don't think that Japanese culture, that's even an idea. In American culture, it's that would be the breaking point for a company. Because from the very little I know about Japanese culture, it's very put your head down, say yes to the boss, right? Very, very submissive, very breedable. Yeah, I don't think that the thought of joining together and leaving would even cross their minds. A lot of people on Twitter have been saying that, but also I think that if you're an animator on Twitter, you're going to be more influenced by Western minds, kind of. Not necessarily, but I do think that is going to happen. Some just kind of being connected to that in a way. And so obviously those people are going to be more vocal and are going to say more stuff that would make us think like that. But I the rank and file animator at MAPPA, I don't think would ever just get up and just leave the desk and leave the job, no matter how bad it got. People in Japan routinely work themselves into the hospital or even to death. I don't think MAPPA is going to be any different here.
It's improbable, but I don't think it's impossible either. I mean, because again, what you're saying, unfortunately, is not about the death, but the working conditions in Japan, specifically in the animation industry, from what I know, they're that bad, and I've heard that MAPPA is somehow worse in that regard. They are below what is considered average of how they treat employees. I think this would be a good time to bring it up. I think one of the big problems is the sheer amount of projects that they decided to work on within such a short time frame. I think that's one of the huge things that's contributing to the issue here. JJK0. I want for the viewers who don't know, just if you've seen JJK0, how long do you guys think it took for MAPPA to animate all of that?
Ooh, I have an answer.
Ooh, yeah, yes. You in the back of the room. Yes, Rat. What is your answer?
4 years.
No, see, you got the number right, but you didn't have the right
5 years.
You didn't have the right wording. Okay, no. It's you got the 4 right, but it's not years. Go lower. It's not a year. It's
3 years.
No. It's lower. It's less than a year. It's less than 1 year.
Less than 1 year.
Yes.
So 11 months.
No. See, you take that number, you slash it almost in half, and you go a little bit lower.
5.5 months.
Even less.
3 months.
A little bit more.
A little bit more than 3 months. 2 months.
No. Other way.
Oh, you mean 5 months?
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm understanding right now.
It took them 4 months to animate all of JJK Zero. I did not know that. I at the time of watching it years ago, I was like, "Wow, this is a good movie." And if I ever stopped to consider how long it would take, I'd be like, "It probably took a long time." 4 months for a movie of that, for like a full length feature film, like hour 50-minute, like format. That, oh god, I can't. All the jokes and memes about like MAPPA employees not even seeing their families, that could just be real. Like,
It probably
4
is.
months. Yeah, 4 months to do that, which then set a bad precedent, because then to the higher ups in this like awful food chain, they're like, oh, okay, if these people can finish a movie of this caliber in 4 months, they should be able to like do that consistently, right? And like there's gonna be no repercussions. So then it's like they took on Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, Attack on Titan final season, and like the last episode of like the giant movie, JJK season 2. All of that together, just God, I feel so bad for all those like knowing all of that, because you figure if a studio like that is taking on multiple projects, you're like, oh, okay, they have a lot of manpower. No, they just make it seem like they do, and they're just pushing everyone to their absolute limits. Gosh. Yeah, just taking on to that's like the one bit. That's like the first big thing I wanted to bring up. Just the amount of projects that MAPPA takes on. I wish that they would just cut back on some of them. You know, not everything needs to be adapted by MAPPA. You know, not only because I think a lot of it can look very same-ish. It's just like, I get it. You know, money. People up in the top want money, but like, if you're hurting your workforce. It just sucks.
It is pretty gay.
Yeah, because, you know, right? And I know that not every studio is like this, right? A lot of them aren't like this, but I like the types of studios that will take on, you know, 1 or 2 projects at a time. Or even like, was it Mushoku Tensei made just for the sole purpose of doing, or Mushoku Tensei's animation studio, was it Egg Firm?
The studio Bind.
Bind.
It was a combination of, well, I think Egg Firm helped, but it's a combination of staff from Egg Firm and something else. But Bind was created basically Egg Firm and White Fox, which I think
I know that this is like an extreme. This is like somewhat not a good example, but animation studios shouldn't try to take on more than they can handle. They should try like 1 or 2 projects at a time. Seems to be not healthy amount, but it seems to be a healthier amount given Japan's like work ethic. That fair enough to say?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the best thing would be like not pushing on more projects people can handle, but it's like okay, that seems to be like a fair amount. But oh my gosh, just yeah.
I mean, one of the thing is with the projects, right? Looking at the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie, you know, 4 months to make. That thing pulled in so much money. Oh, okay. Well, what was the JJK 0 box office number?
Oh, here, I can look that up while you're continuing explaining.
No, I'm looking it up, so you need to continue explaining. 196, basically $200 million for 4 months of work.
In the span of...
Obviously,
wow.
Greedy executives are going to look at that and go, whoa, mama.
Yeah. If they can make that much money in that little time frame for a movie, why can't they take on all these other animation projects? And that's why, you know, you have like the controversy of Chainsaw Man, which I think were like a little extreme.
$1.7 million a day. It's insane.
Yeah, but you had people, whenever Chainsaw Man got animated, specifically a lot of the Japanese fans, being like, they called for a reanimation, like a redo of the anime.
Yeah. Now, Chainsaw Man anime is a completely different, all the problems with
it.
I
know.
The Chainsaw Man anime is objectively beautiful.
It's good. Their issue that was like CGI or whatever, but
people CGI, and the main thing was the direction. But that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing. And then remember Hell's Paradise? Remember how good that looked?
Yes. However, people did
MAPPA,
complain
right?
about the animation of Hell's Paradise.
They did?
Well, yeah, because it's not Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen or Attack on Titan.
That's
Awful.
true. Well, I mean, I was just like I said that because like I wasn't. Unlike the JJK community or Chainsaw Man community, I don't know much about like the big response from people like with Hell's Paradise.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the Hell's Paradise community. I've seen stuff.
Yeah.
I think I watched a
And then-
video on it or something.
And then we got JJK season 2. And now the next topic that I want to bring up because I think it's interesting to talk about. This was very fascinating. Reading how, we found an article talking about some of this. So this is where I'm pulling some of the information from. And in the article, it brought up how the scheduling for animated TV shows works. Like, all right. Here's a good example. So, what was the studio that originally worked on Attack on Titan?
Wit.
Okay, So, how it works is like this. Like a year or so before Attack on Titan season 4 or whatever, done by MAPPA, even animated, right? A bunch of a lot of the people higher up in the food chain, they got together and they said, okay, the 4th season of Attack on Titan is going to air at this time, and like this season, this day of the week, like this, it's going to air now. They already have a deadline set in place, and Wit, I believe, dropped the project because it was too much for them to complete in so little time. And then MAPPA took it on and said, "Hey, I know what we're going to do," and then they did it.
I remember about the Attack on Titan studio change. There was a lot of skepticism around MAPPA. And there was a lot of disappointment because Wit was very beloved. At least as far as I remember.
Yeah.
I love
But
Wit.
Is what I said correct? Like, I'm trying to remember everything about the article on that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. I think that this whole MAPPA situation, right, as a whole, I mean, industries suck, right? Just they suck in America, they suck wherever. But I think learning how the industries work is always very interesting and also like a damn kind of moment. Where we're seeing, I mean, this episode that we watched today, right, was probably completed like literally this morning and then sent in. Or like hours, but like, and that is so weird to think about. It's like damn, like they would like that is insane to me.
Yeah, someone probably drew Yuji staring blankly into the abyss of the remnants of what happened to that part of Shibuya when an animator was just sitting on the toilet with its drawing tablet like hours before it aired.
Based.
It's just weird to think about how crunched the time frame is. Yeah, and then a lot of that just led to a lot of public outcry from a lot of the animators. There are multiple. It's not like this isn't even an over exaggeration. It's not like one or like a handful of people. Like tons of people from working with MAPPA. A lot of them are under NDAs, but a lot of them have said some things online that suggest the situation is not very good at all at MAPPA. So there's a lot of people who are making an outcry about it. So that's why I'd like to believe, given the outcry, it's very hopeful. It's very wishful thinking, copium or whatever. I'd like to believe something could change. If the sad thing is, right, the universal language that we have is money, right? Money, I would know. I'm Whack Crabs. Mm-hmm. But if you hit money. If you hit those types of corporations or whatever, like MAPPA, where it hurts most with money, things it's hopeful things could change. Because think about it, right? If, let's say hypothetically, enough people up and decided, like you referenced earlier, if enough people actually decided, okay, I can't do this anymore. There are other animation studios that'll pay me 4 schmeckles an hour instead of 3. I'm gonna leave. And a lot of people leave. MAPPA is left with a big project on their hands that they committed to and put a ton of money into over a year ago, with how the scheduling works, it's gonna be done at this time. So it would cost them a lot of money to delay and reschedule because they've all this marketing.
I mean, look, on it, all this talk about it's gonna end. Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 will air every week as intended.
It probably will. And the worst thing is, right? It's probably going to affect the upcoming arc. And just coming from a place of like passion and enjoyment of the series, because a lot of these animators, from some of the tweets they heard, like they are working on it because they love these series too. You know, they're passionate about what they're doing. And I really hate that this situation is probably going to manifest itself into the next upcoming fight that we have, which is one of the best fights in the series. It's one of the best
fights in manga. So
yeah, it's really good, and not just from there are people who'd be like, oh yeah, just like whining and complaining about how the animation quality can look bad. I feel bad because like with the Dagon episode, right? I feel especially bad because back in that episode, I had no idea that the situation was this bad. Like the one guy who came out and was like, I'm so sorry, this is like, I'm so dishonored or whatever, this is what I'll be remembered by. I don't want people working on Yuji and whoever versus Mahito and walking away feeling like, yeah, my legacy's ruined. Like I want people to be like happy with what they're doing, and I just, it's gonna suck if it's all held together with like duct tape, because none of the animators want that either. If they love JJK and they're on the team, they want to do it justice. But there's only so much you can do when you're told, hey, you have like exactly 5 seconds to animate this 20-second fight scene. Good luck. There's only so much a human can physically do. There are limits to this stuff. And it feels like a lot of people making these decisions just don't realize what these limits are. So again, it's wishful thinking. I hope something turns around for people at MAPPA, which could then, domino affect it. Odds are, like you said, pessimistic, but things probably aren't going to change anytime soon. And it sucks, but I hope the best for the animators at MAPPA and everyone else involved who is affected by the situation who isn't an animator.
Yeah. Sucks all around.
Yeah. And so
I don't see it getting any better anytime soon, honestly. I mean, unless something catastrophic happens.
So going forward, I mean, we would, if an issue like this didn't happen, we'd probably talk about like the Maharaga episode more. Or just going forward, episodes will probably come out. We'll still talk about them, but
we wanted to address this. We wanted to address this.
We just wanted to make it known, like, we're not blind to the situation. We're gonna go about business as usual and hope for the best.
Well, we're gonna reference this video. We're gonna say we talked about it before. But
from here on,
is that everything, Kyle? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think that's it. I think we did a good job speaking our piece on the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're this far in the episode, then obviously there is something you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what you thought about the whole MAPPA situation, where you think it's going. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of a little bit insane. But with all that said, thank you all for watching. Hope that you all enjoyed. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.